Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as the Golden State Warriors extend the 2019 NBA Finals, winning tonight by a score of 106 to 105. And oh my goodness, Toronto Raptors fans, I am feeling for you tonight. Oh, so close. Oh, it was on the tip of your tongue. Ooh, that trophy, that NBA championship, oh, the culmination of all your hopes and dreams, little Toronto, the little engine that could, the ugly duckling there, with an opportunity to win the NBA championship of 103 to 97 with just 3 minutes left, all the momentum on Toronto's side. Ooh, they were starting to reel out the trophy to Scotiabank Arena, starting to reel it out to mid-court, and ultimately failure for the Toronto Raptors as the Golden State Warriors get it done. A choke job by the Toronto Raptors, and to me, it all starts with one man. And I hope that he gets his just due tomorrow, because everyone likes to talk about their macro storylines when it comes to these NBA Finals and the NBA in general. So when you watch Colin Cowherd tomorrow, when you watch Skip Bayless tomorrow, when you watch PTI tomorrow, when you watch your local or national programming tomorrow, Noah's going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about this because as a guy that would like to one day be a head coach, or someone would have me, or a GM or whatever, I could not believe it. I immediately tweeted about it. I just could not fathom. When we were talking about the Raptors being up 103 to 97, Kawhi Leonard had just hit a three-pointer, just driven in for a two-pointer, and hit another three-pointer. The Warriors were missing shots. The Warriors were reeling. Nick Nurse with Kawhi Leonard with the ball at the top of the key calls timeout. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely bewildered. As I sit here at this moment, I still can't believe it. Nick Nurse calls timeout with 3 minutes left as the Toronto Raptors, his team, are running away with the championship. The Warriors had one timeout left. They couldn't use it. They needed to hold on to it in case of late game scenarios. But I bet you Steve Kerr was wishing, oh boy, I wish I had another timeout. That way I could make the substitution of putting Quinn Cook back in the game, and so that I could calm my team down and get one more last effort out of them. And then here comes Nick Nurse providing that opportunity, giving a timeout to the Golden State Warriors. There was one team that needed a timeout in that moment, and it was the Golden State Warriors, and Nick Nurse provided it. I can't believe it as I sit here, as I live and I breathe. He gifted the Warriors with the opportunity because at that point, Andre Iguodala was in the game. They were getting no shooting out of Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green. DeMarcus Cousins had been also reduced to nothing. You were just Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson out there trying to get open. Steph Curry missing some shots. Klay Thompson trying to get open but being unable to at that moment. They needed Quinn Cook in the game. Even the commentary was talking about this. K makes a substitution. No dead balls. We just had a couple three-pointers by Kawhi Leonard, but no fouls. No fouls by the Toronto Raptors on the other end. They were reeling, and Nick Nurse absolutely called timeout, stopped the momentum of the Toronto Raptors, snuffed their momentum. Only 2 points scored by the Toronto Raptors after that moment. And as for the Golden State Warriors, how many points did they score after that? 9. And there you go, a 9-2 run gifted by Nick Nurse to the Golden State Warriors. And to me, that was the game. That is what the game was reduced to. Now, there was a lot of things that happened in this game before, and a significant amount of stuff that happened after. But that was a switch. I cannot believe that Nick Nurse called timeout there. I can't believe it as I sit here, as I live, and as I breathe. But after that, guess what? Stephen Curry, well, first Klay Thompson hits a three-pointer. Then Stephen Curry finally hits a three despite struggling for all of the fourth quarter. So finally he gets his big moment, big three-point shot that he severely needed because, boy, it looked like Stephen Curry was going to get killed tomorrow. He can't show up in the clutch. He can't do anything. And he's still going to get some of that because he was bad in that fourth quarter. I mean, no matter how you slice it and dice it, he was brilliant in the first half. I want to say he had 20 points, maybe more than that. and he was fantastic. But then second half, he definitely slowed down. Fourth quarter, he was quiet, except for that three-pointer, but it was a big three-pointer. And then Klay Thompson, 2 big threes. One when the Warriors had 97 points, and then another when the Warriors had 103. And that last three-pointer ended up being the game-winning shot. And then you look at the final possession, Kawhi Leonard with the ball at the top of the key. He gets trapped. And some people are going to say he needs to hold on to the ball. He needs to drive in. No, to me, he needs to make the best basketball play there. And the trap, it was too centralized. Yes, in the Sixers game, he was able to, get a shot off. But again, he was driving right there, driving to the right side, a pull-up shot that he's very familiar with. There's a difference between getting trapped there and getting trapped at the top of the key. He did the best thing possible, the best basketball scenario and played there, passing the ball out. And Kyle Lowry has to get off a better shot than that. He was closed out well. He has to get a better shot than that. I mean, that is everything on the line. We just saw Kawhi Leonard with a game sealing, series sealing shot just 2 series ago. You had your opportunity, Kyle Lowry, and he showed us once again why he's Kyle Lowry. Okay, I mean, he is Kyle Lowry for a reason, and we saw it right there. A lot of big moments in this game. Let's get to the Kevin Durant injury because that's a big deal. Kevin Durant coming back in this game, putting it all on the line in this game, and unfortunately coming up short, getting injured in the second quarter, and it looks to be an Achilles injury. The first time he got injured, that calf injury, now over a month ago, man, it's been a while. To me, that looked like a calf injury. It looked like a lower calf injury, but it looked like a calf injury. He was grabbing too high up on his leg for it to be Achilles. This looked like an Achilles. However, I don't think it was an Achilles tear. I'm not a doctor, but he was moving his ankle. He had ankle mobility. He walked off of the floor, with the support of Andre Iguodala, of course, but he walked off the floor, and then he eventually left the building on crutches and a walking boot. I don't think it's an Achilles tear. If it is, it'll be interesting to see how that affects his free agency, but I feel like Tim's just going to pay him anyway. He's Kevin Durant. And we'll cross that bridge if we get there, right? Let's not go down that road of just assuming we know the injury. We don't know anything, right? We just know what we saw. But look, I'll tell you this: he's out for the series. He's not going to test this again. He might try to, but the Warriors are going to let him test this again. He's done for this series. They tried it, and these are the dangers, right? We always want these athletes to go out there and give it their best shot, and this is what can happen. They can re-injure stuff. Kevin Durant re-aggravated his injury tonight. Kevon Looney, he re-aggravated his injury tonight. We saw Robert Griffin III famously in that 2013 playoff game coming off the heels of the 2012 NFL season. We saw him, really try to go out there and test his leg, and then boom, torn ACL. And some people will tell you that, well, that had nothing to do with it. It was a different injury. I'll tell you, well, he was a broken man out there playing football, and then he broke something else, right? This is the kind of stuff that happens. It's dangerous. It's scary. And this is why we should, respect athletes when they choose to sit in these crucial moments sometimes, because their health is priority number one, right? And we saw what happens today. So Kevin Durant's out. And you guys know me. I've been completely consistent that I have the Golden State Warriors winning this series. I haven't backed down from that opinion or that stance. I am probably going to back down from that stance right now. Despite the fact that the Warriors won tonight, this should have been a much easier victory for the Golden State Warriors tonight. The Golden State Warriors, as a team, hit 23 pointers. There were 20 of 42 from three-point range. They shot better from three-point range than they did anywhere else. They shot 47% from three, 46% overall field goal percentage. 23 pointers to the Toronto Raptors, 8. Okay, so that is a 12 3-point advantage, right? So that is 12 3-pointers as opposed to 2-pointers that the Golden State Warriors had over the Toronto Raptors. And yet, we only had a 1-point game here in a game that ultimately the Raptors should have won if the Warriors don't get those last three-pointers. And they needed every single one of them, right? So, I mean, my goodness, the Warriors were so hot. They were blazing. They were hitting everything in terms of three-point range, and they lost this game. Or they almost lost this game. They barely won this game. And now Kevon Looney, I think we'll see. But I doubt he'll play now. I mean, we'll see. His injury is much more of a pain issue, so he might try to tough it out. And did they win a game without him? Was he out for a game too? And did they win that game? I can't remember that. But, he's going to be a big loss. Kevin Durant, he's done for this series now. And you can just tell with this Warriors team now, they're just so dependent on Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. They're too dependent on Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. And again, people keep having this conversation. The Warriors need Kevin Durant. And my thing is, and it's very simple, the Warriors don't need Kevin Durant, but the Warriors need someone else. right? It doesn't have to be Kevin Durant, but they need someone else. Remember, they had Harrison Barnes. They had another scorer on this team that wasn't great. Harrison Barnes averaged like 11, 12 points a game, but he still gave you good three-point shooting, still gave you a good offensive weapon, a consistent enough offensive weapon. They don't need Kevin Durant, but they need somebody who can score on a somewhat consistent basis. And Quinn Cook ain't giving you that. Andre Iguodala ain't giving you that. Draymond Green ain't giving you that. And by the way, these were back in the days where Draymond Green was way more consistent as an offensive weapon himself. Right now, and you're lucky if he hits a three. He saw a three from him today. We were shocked by that. Right? So they just need someone else, and they're not going to get that in this series. You know, I thought they were going to get that, but Livingston's done. Oh my gosh, Sean Livingston is so done. And what's going to happen, either Game 6 or Game 7, whichever one happens first, is going to be a night where Steph or Clay aren't hitting something. Maybe both of them, but one of them, if one of them does not show up, they're done. They just can't win the game. They cannot win the game. If Steph or Clay does not show up in any given night, they're finished. And DeMarcus Cousins gave them some stuff. He had a nice offensive spurt today, but he can't sustain it throughout an entire game. He can't even sustain it game to game. He was awful in games 3 and 4 in Oracle, right? So this series, to me, it has the Raptors written all over it. So if I'm a Raptor fan, I'm not panicking. Steph Curry or Klay Thompson will have a bad game. One of them is going to go like 1 of 10 in the first half, and it's going to be a blowout in that first half, and the game's going to be over from there. I'm telling you right now, either game 6 or 7. It's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, and this is coming from a guy that's had the Warriors in this series. But again, that was assuming Kevin Durant was coming back, which again, that was assumption. I was right in that assumption. You saw the impact that he had. He was 3 of 3 from 3. He had 11 points, and the Warriors looked so far in superior, at least offensively, to the Raptors with Kevin Durant on the court. Now he's gone again. They were outscored, right, without Kevin Durant than with Kevin Durant, but luckily they were able to hold on for the victory today. But again, I do not believe this will continue to be the case for them moving forward. I expect them to lose. It's hard for me to say that they're going to lose another game at Oracle. Like, are they really going to go 0-3 at Oracle in this series? I mean, that's a shocking thing to say. I know they've been bad. I mean, quite frankly, at Oracle in these NBA playoffs, right, in these 2019 NBA playoffs, but going 0-3 at home is hard, right, even for them. But again, I mean, I look at today, and I look at the Raptors, look at the box score. I mean, Kawhi Leonard was 9 of 24, Pascal Siakam was 6 of 15, and they almost won the game. Danny Green was 2 of 7. We're going to see another hot night from the Toronto Raptors, either Game 6 or Game 7, and that's going to be it. And you're going to see either Clay or Steph struggling in one of these games, and that's going to be it. Now, we could see a Herculean effort. In order for the Warriors to win this series, we're going to have to see this. Next game, the Raptors are just going to be cold for some reason. Like, they just have to be real cold or just something, either Game 6 or Game 7, right? And then that's the game the Warriors can win. And then in another game, right, whatever other game that is, so let's say this. Let's say Game 6, the Raptors just can't hit anything for some reason. The Warriors are able to win that game. And then Game 7, they just have Herculean efforts by Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. But these two are absolutely carrying the Warriors. And again, people, I know it's so easy to forget, but this was not the case in 2016. That's the difference now. This is not the case. Don't compare. Okay, well, you see, obviously they're not winning now, so they couldn't win back in 2017. And obviously, you know, they need Kevin Durant. But no, they don't need Kevin Durant to me in order to be a championship team, right? Hell, they're here. The question is, or the problem is, they don't have a replacement. They don't have Harrison Barnes, who they had. Right? If they never get Kevin Durant, they keep Harrison Barnes. If they keep Harrison Barnes, they have an option right now that can actually score offensively for them. Outside of Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry consistently. They don't have that. And that's their problem. And ultimately, it's a problem that I'm expecting for the Toronto Raptors to take advantage of in either Game 6 or Game 7. But we had a great game tonight. I enjoyed this. And I love the fact that these NBA Finals continue to be extended. I'm enjoying these NBA Finals. I wanted to go to Game 7. I want to watch Game 7 on that Sunday, June 16. I have it already planned out. I hope that we make it that far. But ultimately, we will see. Let me check the chat real quick to see what you people are saying, and then we'll get out of here. Some people are saying that Kyle Lowry choked, and he did. You know, he absolutely choked on that final three-point attempt. There's no doubt about that. And other than that, I mean, he was 8 of 16 today, so he was good. But, I mean, that was an awful three-point attempt at the end of the game. What else do we have here? And yeah, we'll see. And someone said I'm forgetting about Game 6 Clay. And we could see Game 6 Clay Thompson, right? Clay Thompson is notorious for being, really, prolific in Game 6s. He had that infamous Game 6 against the Oklahoma City Thunder only a couple years ago. But it's going to take those kind of efforts, man. And it's going to take the Raptors not doing enough. But you even saw today, the Raptors can hit shots, man. If you leave them open, you leave Marc Gasol open, you leave Danny Green open, you leave Kyle Lowry. Even though, we can ridicule him for missing that last shot, and we will, right? We're going to do plenty of that. But even Kyle Lowry's hitting shots, man. Fred VanVleet is hitting shots. They're hitting shots. I just don't see them really choking away this series. And at the very worst, Kawhi Leonard's getting to the free throw line and getting free throws. And the Raptors are a team as they are getting free throws. They had 27 free throw attempts today. They're getting to the line, right? I think that's going to continue, and we're going to see what's going to happen in this series. But there we go. The Warriors win 106-105. They extend their dynasty just a little bit longer. What were your thoughts on this game? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm